Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to get started on the Aniplex BUZZmod 112 scale Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Tanjiro Kamado. So let's get started. Yeah, this is one of those things where I didn't know what we were getting into because Aniplex has actually shown off a bunch of figures and I don't think any have released yet with the exception of Tanjiro. They hinted at Fullmetal Alchemist before, and they kind of just took back that, and then they released it, and then, well, they put it up for order. But Tanjiro is the first to release out of the Aniplex figures, and honestly, I'm okay with where they're starting at. I do think there's some stuff that could be worked on, but it is off to a solid start. So let's talk about the figure. The Tanjiro, and it's weird because I'm using a brand new setup, so everything's a little over to the right. So if it looks like I'm doing this, my bad, y'all, because I'm shifting. So yeah, Tanjiro actually looks his part. Like, I really like how he looks. I think the only drawback is, I think, honestly, he do got a big head though for a 14-year-old. But that's the design was. I can't really knock that. I don't think he's ever seen with a small head. But I think the problem with the Aniplex proportions is that it doesn't loan itself to more articulation in the lower end. We'll get to that when we start over the articulation. But look-wise, with his cloak on, he looks absolutely stunning. I really like the look of this. Now, if we're going to take his cloak off, this is where it gets a little funky. Because if you like the aesthetics of something with the cloak on, you should be able to also like the aesthetics of something with it off. You get a little bit of the cut corner here in terms of the articulation because this area comes loose a lot. Ooh. Again, sorry, I'm off to the right. So I'm trying to be a little bit more aware of that. So yeah. And this is where we get a little clunky with our stuff. So here, in a neutral pose, Tanjiro looks great. The waist here is a little off. And it's unsettling because I'm guessing it's supposed to sit up like this. But either way, it completely looks uneven. It allows us for great mobility, which I am okay with. I am totally fine with that. But being aware that there are some people who like aesthetics of their figures, this may turn them off. Now, as far as lifting our arms up, I don't have a problem with it. It's a little squeaky, but that never bothered me before. And we can still rotate on this joint to allow the replication of bicep swivel. Being able to know where to go underneath the clothing may be a little tricky for some. So please be aware of that. Try to practice a lot with your figure, so that way you're not breaking anything when you take your cloth off, right? So yeah. And we are single jointed. We are not double jointed. It is a singular joint. Doesn't move as double, right? So as you can see, you can still rotate it all the way around though and have movement. So you can definitely hit the T-pose. As far as our rotation is with the head, we can go up, we can go down, and we can tilt left and right. Again though, I think it's a little sloppy on their end about how the joints break up, because even if you have cloth covering it, you want to be able to make sure joints don't come out very easily like this. This is at risk of popping out, just like this is at risk of breakage from coming down. And I think that, like I said, off to a solid start. And I think any sort of criticism given is hopefully to help them go further along and get better, because I actually like this figure a lot. As we rotate back down with our squeaky goodness, we can see the Tanjiro actually looks really good and even has a symbol on the back of his clothing. As far as the lower legs go, there is a replicating thigh swivel. As you can see here, we can actually move our leg all the way up and we can rotate again. But again, it's only on a single joint. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but it does have nice movement and it looks solid. But I would have liked it to be able to fold a little in deeper. And it sucks that it can't do that. You will get a bandage swivel. This is right here at the calf. You can move forward with your leg. Down. You can actually tilt side to side as well too. Not a lot though, but enough that he can have a lot of flat movement, and you have toe pivot. So here's a great example, right? We're gonna pose up Tanjiro. And he doesn't have his sword yet, so just be aware if I were gonna pose him as if he did have a sword, right? Or if he was reaching for his sword. So as you can see, Tanjiro can actually reach for his sword, can look good. posing is not too much of an issue. Even going outward, our legs can go about this far out. Not crazy far though, but hopefully what we're doing with our swordsman skills will make up for that. You can see he can ride or kick. And technically crouch on one knee, but it looks a little sloppy. Even if I were to make up for it with a little bit of leeway, it's going to look a little sloppy. But there is a lot of potential here, especially in the movement and the look. And that's probably what a lot of people are going to aim for aesthetically. Now, we've gone over everything without the cloak. I'm going to put the cloak back on so you can see how the articulation is with that as well. I do like that I don't have to take off the hands technically for him to fit through his overlay jacket. I do like that a lot. It saves me a lot of time of taking hands off, putting hands back on, taking hands off, putting hands back on. And the only thing that will technically get stuck is going to be that thumb as it pokes out. As you can see here, it's getting stuck for me. So with our cloak on, which I actually like a lot, it is wired along the sides. And these are not wired, but they actually look really good. But we are wired here. So if we want to look like it's flowing or anything like that, flowing looks really good. So if you want a Naruto run, you are pretty much set because it's wired enough that it can hold up. But you see I got a little pressed up. Let me actually fix that. As you can see, Tanjiro looks really solid. All the movement this guy makes, it's phenomenal. It just sucks that it doesn't extend just a little bit further. But otherwise, going route the look wise of it, I think they went the right route of aesthetically pleasing while working in many different ways, which is honestly a tough choice for me because I really enjoy articulation. But there's something about this that looks so good and fluid that I can't put my hands on, and I don't know what it is. But besides that, let's actually talk about the accessories. So let's take the time to do that. Let's get to it. I'm actually not going to take a break. I'm feeling good. Let's talk about the accessories. First up, we have is Tanjiro's sword. Now, Tanjiro's sword is actually really nice. I do think it's a little bit of a bummer, though, that we did not get an unsheathable version. They went with the part swapping route. I thought that was a little bit of a cop-out. As you can see here, when you take it out, it's part swapping, right? If you want to fit it through, what you're going to do is you basically just pop it in, slide it through, and you're all set. Doesn't take over the balance of the figure at all, weighs absolutely nothing, so you're good, right? Then we have our unsheathed version of the sword, which looks phenomenal. And it's soft plastic, but please don't bend it too far. You don't want to break it, but for the most part, soft plastic, right? Then we have, this is not included in the figure, but I want to make sure I talk about it. If you bought the candy toy version, which I have here, it's unsheathable and technically can be held by the Aniplex figure. You're going to have to heat this up, so keep that in mind. So if you have this version, and it is a little bit larger on the sheath side and a little bit more color accurate, so it won't fit there. But if you want me to hold it, you got something good going. So that being said, here is our hand accessories. We have the sword holding hands. We have our closed fist. We have our open action hands. We have our serious head. And I think this actually looks dead on. Then we have what I call our goofball head. I like that this was included, but I do honestly think that they could have included more expressions. It would have been nice to have some of those because he actually is quite expressive. Even the crying face would have been a plus. Also, we have sitting legs. So this is where it gets a little tricky for me because I am always worried about things like this. So we have our sitting legs. I'm actually going to remove our sword right now. Our sitting legs, we are actually going to use them by popping out a joint here. And I always worry about that break-in. That's why it is something that's But that one actually came out pretty easy. So as you can see here, those actually came out pretty easy. And this is where it dips down just a little bit. And with our sitting legs, we slide out and make sure they match up with the peg inside. Don't push too hard. And this is where it gets a little tricky for me because I can't see where I'm going technically. So let's try to line these up and then go down. See, can't see it. So this is gonna suck to do on camera, and I'm sorry, y'all. Make sure it lines up, line it out just a little bit. And then I don't know if you guys can see this hole here, trying to find that. I'm gonna try to line it in. And it's not perfect, it's really not. But we do have technically a sitting Tanjiro here, right? And this is how we get a sitting Tanjiro who can actually sit down. My only problem is it's lining those up on camera was quite difficult. And also what you can do is you can actually take these out, right? And use the feet from the other one to replicate sitting poses or crouching poses. As you can see here, you can plug them in. And then technically you'll be able to replicate the sitting poses that you see on the box. That's what that would allow you to do, right? I like that it is a little easier to part swap. My only real issue is that it's hard to line up those parts. As you can see, I'm having some trouble here. And it may mostly be because I'm on camera. And as usual, I'm pretty nervous about that. I mean, it may not seem that way, but I am quite nervous on camera of messing up because the internet is quite unforgiving. So let's try to get these legs back on. Or we can leave them alone and I could do it off camera. And then we can talk about, wow, fire department's out. We can leave the legs alone, right? But I'm gonna put them back on. And then we're gonna go over the rest of the accessories. He's pretty easy to put back together. But if I were able to match the sitting stuff, right? If I were able to match that, you would have had a sitting pad as well. The feet line up perfectly to groove in and you just sit right down. Next up, we get Nezuko's box. The box, as far as I can tell, does not open. There's no alignment to show it opening as well. And here you have the tabs for the shoulders. This you just pop right out. They actually come off in general. And you're going to lift up the arms. And pretty much just tab them back in over the arms to show that Tanjiro can carry it. The box definitely has some weight to it. So if you don't do it properly, you may actually cause Tanjiro to fall over. So please be very careful of that, because it is very easy. The box has significant weight to it. So counterbalancing is definitely going to be a thing. It's pretty heavy. Let me see if I can just line this up for you on camera. I should be able to. Oop. Actually, no, I'm having a little bit of trouble. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the cop out way and do it over and just slide the arms through. I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to tab them in to show the kind of weight. But as you can see here, having a little bit of trouble tabbing it, because you want to make sure it has a strong connection. And this is why I didn't want to do it, because the cloth on it is going to get in the way every time. And actually there's a small room to allow those arms in there. So I'm gonna untab one and see what happens. See if I can get it to go from there. Try to be thorough in these videos. There's a lot of issues that people wouldn't know or see. So you gotta, some people are not good at you, like me. You have to show me something for me to get it, because telling me I don't always get it, right? So maybe that's what we can do in these videos, is try to help people by showing them. And here we are, we have it. Tanjiro can carry Nezuko around. Looks pretty good too. Has weight though, like I said, but it does not weigh him down. as you can see here. So let's see if he even I put a leg up. Let's see if Tanjiro can balance it. Just come on. Come on. He has flat enough feet, and I want to make sure it works. Actually, the feet are a little bit more rounded, like Kamen Rider Gem, the zombie gamer. Definitely a little bit more rounded, but I'm pretty sure we can get him to balance for the basic stuff. Or maybe not. I could be wrong. Yeah, can't get him to balance, but we tried, right? So next up, let's go over the last set of accessories, and these are going to be your weapon accessories. So with our sword, we actually get a fire breathing technique. And I forgot how you actually, oh, I'm tripping. So here we have the bottom flame technique. I want to actually use this with the blade, and I was tripping because I don't believe that's actually how it's seen. I believe for this round effect, you actually have it up against the wheel and it goes in there, if I remember correctly. So this is how you do it, and it's supposed to line up so that way it sides off to the side a little bit, but I actually don't remember how it goes. But I'm gonna find a way to put it on the sword and be cool, as you can see here. But I like these two effects a lot. It's a bummer though, they did not include the water breathing technique. They included the flame breathing technique. Or is it fire? I don't remember, honestly, at this point. I should though, because I was just reading the goddamn manga. So yeah, these are really cool things that I like. But it should have come with some water breathing techniques, especially because this is a little bit of a spoiler for those of you just jumping in to some stuff, but not to spoil too much. But all in all, I do like where this is going, and as you've heard through it, it does have some gripes for me, articulation wise, but aesthetically wise, there's a lot of nice stuff that goes along with it. But without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some time to jump into the size comparison. So let's get them all nice and stand up, and I'll see you guys in a second. Cool. Now it's time for the size comparison, guys. This one's gonna be a little tricky because I don't think I have many things that are gonna work well with this, but I'm gonna do my best to try. But I think one guy that I think this is gonna match up pretty well is that I wanted to try the Anime Yamaguchi Deku, and I think him and Tanjiro doing a team up would look really, really great because they actually look really good size-wise. Although their head sizes are a little different, height-wise, I think they really work out pretty well with each other, right? Let's take him away. You know what? Since we're talking about demons and vampires and stuff like that, what would it be without some Mythic Legions vampires? Because he is a young child, so him going up against one of these taller guys, bigger guys, I think that makes really good sense, right? Here he is next to a 1000 Toys Night of the Slice bad guys. You can kind of mix this guy in doing some cool stuff, right? Here we are with an SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Kuga. Which reminds me, you know what? I didn't think about it till now, but Juggus Juggler would look really cool here. I didn't think about that until now. He would look cool fighting Tanjiro. Any sort of crazy demon swordsman, right? Here we are with a Netflix Punisher / Red Hood Kit Bash. And as you can see, Tanjiro is much smaller, but it works out pretty okay. Let's move a bunch of these guys. Here we are with a G.I. Joe Cobra Viper. Just to show you the kind of scale that you're getting with. Oh, and here is a Storm Collectible Scorpion. Speaking of, oh, you know what? Great example, because I pulled them out just for this. These would really look good. It's a NECA Evil Dead Demon Spawn. I think these guys, and actually, let's move Scorpion over. And Storm Collectible Skeleton from Golden Axe actually look phenomenal and will work well in photos with Tanjiro. So here's what we got. And size-wise, Tanjiro is going to be tiny to everybody, and I think that's how it should work. But yeah, I think what you put up against him is really going to be how you make it work, but you can get some really good shots going. So I hope everybody enjoys it who does pick it up, and I hope you found this informative. And as always, guys, please be good, do good, drink your water, guys. Later.